I don't know what Miami did to the schedulers to deserve that. Just kidding. Nice rip from Milan Rane. There's the power right out of the gates. Side out. Miami looking to hit the scoreboard first.
0-0-1.
Short return. Wind is picking up here in Austin. There's no safe place to go against Hurricane Tyra Black. As fun as she is offensively to watch, her defensive prowess shines bright. Probably more than the offense. Again, right on the attack down the way. Lights up Milan Rane, a quick hold for the Dallas Flash.
A pair of early side outs. Team settling in. Always makes you feel good when you get that first side out, but to not strike blood after getting it back, not ideal.
Yeah, especially when you're the underdog. Milan Rane grabs the sideline, holds off Dallas once again.
Saw an extended cross-court dinking pattern there, backhand to backhand between Black and Bui, and the first ball that went to Millie did not come back.
Yeah, that's a great point. See if the targets start to change. Jorja was trying to attack off the bounce on Bui. Ball back to Miami. Great start so far. Can they sustain it? That's the question. Games to 11, win by 2, and we'll see. Mya Bui trying to attack off the bounce. The Dallas flash mob is upon us by the masses here in Austin. All right, Miami hits the scoreboard first.
One, 0-2.
Jorja Johnson lets out a roar.
Zero, 1-1.
There we go.
Second serve.
Slow start for Dallas, still scoreless. Counter deep for Hurricane Tyra Black.
0-1-2.
Milan Rane, jeez. Oh my, Milan doing everything she can to save the point, but Tyra Black gets the last punch.
Playing that, just make one more ball strategy, but just needed one more ball.
Milan Rane unleashing the fury right now, playing out of her mind. Tyra Black just makes it look easy. Perfect setup, pokes it out of the air to the middle, lets Jorja Johnson finish it up. What do you think about Jorja and Tyra playing straight up too without camping Tyra on the left, as many would expect?
Definitely a new element for this year. Again, with rally scoring in the past, wasn't really a factor. You can just put your preferred player on their preferred side.
Volley.
And the drop volley, I love it in rec play, but in the pro level, it feels like they're always able to cover it. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm selling my stock on the drop volley there.
A couple of those squeeze and fives, dangling a few. Nice ball again to the middle. It looks effortless for Hurricane Tyra Black. Throws her paddle on it. Gets it down just as easy. Oh my. Bui comes to life out of the air.
Did an excellent job to track down that lob, work their way back up to the kitchen, scoring themselves a point.
2-2-2.
Now we're back with Millie on the right where we started things.
That's deep. A good dodge from Mya Bui.
The most underrated skill in pickleball.
Yes, it is.
3-2-2.
held off for now. Hurricane Tyra Black sends the ball back to Dallas for 2 serves. Men's doubles coming up after this one. Mya Bui decides to strike first in the cross-court dink exchanges both ways.
Two, 3-2.
Milan Rane cranks it down the line against Jorja Johnson. Ball back to Miami.
And I think at this point for Miami, you're just happy that you're keeping this one close early.
Oh my, such creativity.
Somehow we're still playing.
Milan Rane keeps it alive and steals a point. What effort from Milan Rane. Make him play one more ball. That mentality stands.
And another excellent dodge for Mya Bui.
Four, 1. Point.
And a missed return from Tyra Black. Things looking off for Dallas Flash, and a sensational outing to start for the Miami Pickleball Club.
You know, in rally scoring, you feel like when you miss your serve, you're giving away freebie, and inside out, it's the returns.
Yeah. Get to the end change with a 4-point lead. Massive for Miami. Just deep for Milan Rane. She was on it. And what kind of response will we see from the Dallas Flash? That's the question here. Tyra Black goes to the bench to towel off the Texas heat. No joke. You're accustomed to it, Matt. You live here. Ball plays a little bit slower here, a little denser with the humidity.
Yeah, we have officially entered the part of the year where you don't crack many balls.
Point. Three, 5-1.
All right, missed opportunity on the overhead for Milan Rane, and Dallas climbing back in with a chance to tie it. So Dallas had an epic Dreambreaker battle in the in-state rivalry match with the Texas Ranchers last night.
4-5-1.
Jorja Johnson had the match-winning singles rally. She's clutch.
And I am personally still recovering from that one. It was an epic experience. I've never been to just a pickleball match that felt that electric, that alive with the energy. It was just truly something to behold.
Jorja Anberg has a nose for talent, runs the Miami Pickleball Club. He's the coach. Oh, again, forcing them to hit another. Great defense.
And how about making it to the end change with Dallas having a lead after how that started?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's already such a different game flow than what we saw for them last night, as they had an 11-1 win over the Texas women, which is a very impressive result on its own.
Yeah. Nice grab. Oof, into the net it goes from Milan Rane. Missed the easy one. Got the hard ones back. Dallas jumps ahead by 2.
Go meeting. Go team.
7-5-2.
Serve was just back for Tyra. Ball back to Miami and a chance to climb here. But yeah, to your point, Miami can say we got more points against Jorja and Tyra than Tina Pisnik and Anatuya Onatoa did.
And unlike many people, they did not get pickled.
Yes. That's a beautiful setup. Mya Bui instigates against Tyra Black down the line, opens up the close for Milan Rane. Take another look. Will help off the take two. They'll take it. Tyra Black throws it down at the feet of Milan Rane. Second serve, second try for Miami to tie it.
And once she starts hitting down on the ball, you're going to be in a tough position.
Mya Bui with an ambitious attack, trying to go for Tyra down the line at the highest point of the net. Ball back to Dallas.
7-6-1.
Tyra, an unstoppable force on offense. 2-point lead back to Dallas.
But I'll tell you, it is taking a lot more overheads to put the ball away than you would expect right now.
8-6-1.
Ooh, self-defense from Mya Bui. Jorja Johnson attacks down the line with ease and without apology.
9-6-1.
Nice deception. Milan Rane torques it at the last minute down to the feet of Jorja Johnson, deep to the baseline too.
9-6-2. Side out.
And a nice deep serve there. Almost looked a little long to me. And right as she served that, I felt the wind gust pick up. But what a crucial moment to get it stopped there and not have
that heat to your body. 6-9-1. Milan Rane back to serve with the new adjusted strategy. And that ball too high on the third. Mya Bui is well aware, and Hurricane Tyra Black will hold all players accountable with their thirds. Better target there for Mya Bui. Goes cross court that time. Drops it to Jorja Johnson's backhand side. Grabs another point. 7-9-2 Miami.
Side out. Nine, 7-1. Second serve.
A rare missed third for Jorja Johnson.
And that's two unforced errors from her out of the timeout.
9-7-2.
Sometimes that timeout, in addition to any adjustments you make, just throw off the rhythm of your opponent.
Oh, moving Milan Rane around does Tyra Black. Game point for the Flash.
10-7-2. Point game.
Man, tough way to go down. Miami put up such a good fight, but ultimately the Dallas Flash, and regardless who's at his side, crazy to think that this could be the maybe vulnerable spot for Dallas.
Side out.
Side out early, Devilliers and Noe Khlif, both originally from France. that commonality.
0-0-1.
On their side, of course, Noe Khlif was a part of the trade with the Texas Ranchers, sending Eric Onsens to the Ranchers in exchange for Noe Khlif. At that time that the trade was made, Eric Onsen's stock hadn't risen to the point where it was. I think it's a win-win for what both teams wanted. What a ball from JW Johnson. Exploits Jay Devilliers' right hip. What are your thoughts on that trade, Eric Onsens and Noe Khlif?
You know, it was an interesting trade, and for me, coming in this season, obviously you had Kwong Duong on the Texas Rangers last year. You bring in Eric Onsens, and, you know, surprisingly similar strategy.
Yeah.
They're both very aggressive, so it kind of makes sense from that regard. As far as how it works for Miami, I think they were familiar with both Noe and Eric, obviously, in Challenger League last year. But having Jay Devilliers playing so well this year is really what I think is making them, of all the teams promoted from Challenger League, at least, they so far have been the most competitive.
That's a great point. Jay made a deep run at the Grand Slam event in men's singles.
0-1-1.
Quarters. It's last weekend in Atlanta. Heavy drive from Devilliers. JW Johnson strikes through the middle, leans in, pulls it out of the air.
0-1-2. Side out.
Side out quickly for Dallas.
1-0-1.
Ooh. Wow. Hands battle and a premium. What a shot. What a point.
Anytime you have a rally with multiple firefights like that, I mean, what's not to love? That's as good as it gets for me.
Yeah. Want to know why there's more dinking in men's doubles? There you have it. Hand speed across the board, all four players.
I mean, would you want to speed up at JW Johnson?
Probably not. Jay goes right to the body at JW Johnson. That's the only time you can attack him, when he's on the move. But yeah, to your point, perhaps it's, well, no, not perhaps. Jorja Johnson competing against JW Johnson and training and learning to attack him down the line. One of the reasons she's one of the best in the world at that.
In fact, the only reason I'm not better is because my brother isn't.
1-1-1.
Nice. Augie holds the line with ease.
1-1-2.
Augie, such a smart guy, developed his own training app. He's wide for Augie that time. Another point for Miami. Goes into the net. A couple of unforced for Augie. Miami jumps ahead to their biggest lead of game 2.
3-1-2.
Man, Noe Khlif so good at defending his body.
And one thing I'm noticing in my Real Clear Stats data right here is as of a few rallies ago, a significantly larger share of the balls are going towards Augie, the Dallas Flash, whereas the Miami Pickleball Club, much more even split in terms of who is getting more touches. Right now, almost 2/3 of the balls are going to Augie.
Which makes sense when you've got a target like JW Johnson that you don't necessarily want to dish it to.
5-1-2.
High third, and Devilliers not on the reset opportunity. Ball back to Dallas. Miami looking to hold on to a 4-point lead. We'll see how Augie responds after a couple of missed opportunities. Through the middle it goes. JW Johnson gets involved. You can try and keep it away from him, but he'll find a way.
And Miami had a chance to go into the end change for the 6-1 lead. We'll see how many points Dallas can get here, similar to the last game of women's doubles, where it kind of flipped before we got to the end change.
That's a good point. You can't open the door for these two.
3-5-1. Second serve. Three, 5-2.
A battle at the kitchen. Jay Devilliers perseveres from the left. Get to the end change in better position than the ladies.
And we've got a towel sighting for Noe Khlif.
Yeah. Looked like a lot of these players were swimming in a pool of water, and we're only 2 games into it.
It actually looked like a beach towel to me.
In a bit. Heavy drive is deep for Noe Khlif, trying to do too much. Wind has died down just a touch. It's a few points.
5-3-2.
Well played by JW Johnson. Miami stuck on 5. Dallas avoids the end change in a 3-point deficit. It looked mechanical on both sides. Augie loading up every time on the backhand dink, getting those quad work in.
He is just locked in on that 2-hand backhand dink, going up against the 4-hand dink of Noe Khlif. Definitely got the better of that exchange.
What a counter from Jay Devilliers. Need to hold him off one more.
I mean, it looked like the kind of ball you want to attack, but he was just ready on the counter. Do we call that a bait ball? I don't know.
I don't know. Yola J is locked in and loaded.
Maybe cross-court attack wasn't the decision there.
It's up. It's good.
And it's a good one.
And JW Johnson cleans up, splits the difference, decides where the players are not, and threads the needle. What a lob from Augie. Pulls Noe Khlif off the kitchen, forces a lob back.
And you know what? He didn't overthink it on the put away.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy, right down the middle, lots of power.
But deep, which is ultimately the key.
5-5-2.
3-point lead evaporated for Miami.
Side out.
Mya Johnson getting fancy, ball back to Miami.
Five, 5-1.
Ooh, Jay tries to get sneaky on Augie. Gov saw it coming the whole time.
5-5-2.
Feels like Miami needs to get it here or this is going to start to slip away. A battle of wills at the line. And finally, Miami said, well, hey, listen, we didn't win it, so we have something to come back for. And now everybody chasing the flash. St. Louis shock in the mix there, too. St. Louis kind of feels like they were lost in the shuffle, I think, to some degree.
Anytime you miss an event, all of a sudden another team starts getting hot. It's, you know, easy to forget, hey, there are other really good teams that aren't here.
Side out.
And Michelle, one thing I'm seeing in the Real Clear Stats data is there have been 19 firefights we've seen initiated. 15 of those have been started by the Dallas Flash. They have been much more aggressive, dictating the pace of this game. However, they are playing from behind.
Something to note for sure. Feathery drop there, though, for Jorja Johnson. Chance to tie it at 7.
6-7-1.
Noe Khlif dodges it. It's good. What a pull from Augie. Make it 7-all. Dallas back in contention in game 2.
And I didn't feel too much of a breeze. I think that one just stayed in naturally. What a shot.
Great shot. Took a little bit off of it. Showed that he was going big with it. ATP defended. Oh my. Jorja Johnson nearly stealing the show, but Noe Khlif hangs in the battle. Wow.
Noe Khlif saw the Dallas Flash logo on Augie's jersey and thought that looked like a pretty good target.
Look at that defense from Jorja Johnson. Made him hit about 7 winners to close out a point, if that's what it takes. Discipline from Jay Devilliers, and he was the biggest reason he came away with it, I think.
And somewhat of an unsung hero when it comes to Dream Breakers, or at least you don't think of him as a singles specialist by any means, but anytime he comes on there, also, his name is very easy to chant and the crowd loves it.
Got a paddle on it, too big. Dallas recovers the serve, down a point.
7-8-1.
ATP defended again, cracked the angle from Jorja Johnson. Bobs up, and another one, but deep that time for Augie.
That one caught me off guard, taking it out of the air.
Saw an Ernie lob today from Will Howells. That was...
And was this intentional?
Yeah, I think it was. He talked about it on the sideline, saying that it was. He's like, did you see that, Annalee? This is my new. Skip off the tape, count it. 8 apiece.
That's the first time it really felt like the 5th player of the net really made itself known.
8-8-2.
Wow. Ooh, Ernie surprise, and then counter back to Noe Khlif. Caught off guard by Jorja Johnson.
And Michelle, we talked about how much more aggressive Dallas Flash have been.
Ooh, Augie trying to attack Noe Khlif once again, who he pointed out ahead of the break was the player of choice to attack.
8-9-1.
Oh, back to Miami. Ooh, tough bounce off the tape for Khlif.
Eight, 9-2.
Okay, tie game. Miami locks it up at 9.
Maybe we'll start going more towards that J-Dub backhand dig.
Well, can't avoid the forehand, unfortunately, for Miami there. Jorja Johnson puts it away.
9-9-1.
What a ball, Noe Khlif on every counter. Intensity building for the Miami Pickleball Club. They believe that an upset is possible. Oh man, that serve got away from Jay, took a funky bounce, and just like that, game point for the Dallas Flash.
And the Dallas Flash did have a game point against Orlando yesterday before they did eventually lose that.
Oh, ATP clumps into the post. Man, that's a heartbreaker for Miami. What a battle. Augie Gunn, Jorja Johnson shockingly get their first win in Austin. The booth with Matt Klitsch, known as Matty Pickles. This is game 3 mixed doubles. Milan Rane overcooks the counter, and this is the matchup, Matty, that Dallas chose. Jorja and Jorja Johnson, their ace, but they really have a 1A and a 1B in mixed doubles, it seems.
And they're going up here against Miami's team, which we could definitely call the first lineup. They're 7-5 on the year. Other mixed lineup for Miami, 4-8 on the year.
3-0-2.
Really hunting for the Ernie.
Side out.
Battles in the cross-court exchange with Jorja Johnson to get the ball back. Dallas could clinch a regulation win here. They win this game, they win the match. We'll still play 4 no matter what.
Point.
Make it rain, Millie. Let's go.
Jay Devilliers asking Milan Rane to make it rain from their bench.
1-1.
Shortage of personality, the flying Frenchman. ATP was not defended.
And we've seen a few ATPs. Jay Devilliers all were defended. Hit one off the post to end that game too. So that is the first ATP that forced an error.
Used to be winners across the board years ago. Now the game has evolved. Good shot from Milan Rane.
They still are when I play.
Same.
Point.
Attack attempt thrown into the net.
3-1.
Miami takes hold of a 1-point lead. World's best in mixed doubles. Julie Johnson's perspective, how she keeps these kids humble. The successes in the past. Focus on the future and the present.
Side out.
And probably an attitude that you really are happy to hear about if you're a Dallas Flash fan coming off a championship. I mean, maybe there's some fun in having a little cocky attitude, but being the humble, staying hungry, probably makes you feel a little better about how this season will go.
Dallas Flash will be the hosts of Pickleball into July. Nice hands battle. Jorja and J.W. Johnson knock it home to tie the
3-3-1.
Milan Rane goes for a gutsy attack on J.W. Johnson. It works.
She's much braver than I. We haven't seen Jada targeted a lot and got the better of that one.
3-3-2.
TP defended, but Jorja Johnson was there as the enforcement. How about the walk-off Ernie winner that Jorja Johnson had the other night? That was sensational.
Might not be a more satisfying way to end a game.
Was against the squeeze yesterday.
Point.
Johnson continues the fight. She is the emotional leader on her side.
Timeout change in. 6-3-2.
J.W. Johnson loading back up to serve on a 2. Oh, Ernie attempt gone wide for Jorja Johnson. She is the Ernie queen.
Oh, side out.
It's a nice 360 twirl.
3-6-1.
Give that a 10.
The feet were clean.
Second serve.
What do you think the most underrated talent or skill is? I'll give you a minute to think about after this point, but is for Jorja and J.W. Johnson. Oh. J.W. Johnson cleans up, but it was the stingy defense of Jorja that kept the point alive.
Well, one thing that is definitely not underrated is J-Dub's speed ups. In fact, right now, of the 7 speed ups that, or sorry, rather, of the 9 speed ups he's initiated, they have only lost 1 of them.
Wow.
2 of them have been reset, so finding a lot of success there.
So speed it up, J-Dub. That's what those numbers suggest.
And as far as underrated, I mean, I'm sure it's talked about plenty, but just having a partner that you play with so consistently, especially in MLP. Remember, teams that have played together last year are probably at a little bit of advantage at this point in the season compared to teams that are newer partnerships.
7-3-2.
Get out of the way. J.W. Johnson is here and here to stay. Wow.
Timeout, Miami.
Fourth no matter what.
Time in.
J.W. Johnson
8-3-2.
loading up at 8-3-2.
Point.
Another speed up winner, or rather error forced off of the exchange.
More stats on that
9-3-2.
aspect of the game. J.W. Johnson torques it down to the feet for match point.
So far, as we enter this last break, J.W. Johnson was speeding the ball once every 8 touches. We'll see if he goes for it again here on match point.
Converting on a lot of those. It's wide, and Jorja Johnson and J.W. Johnson clinch a regulation win and 3 standing points as the playoffs come August. These games matter.
And the difference between being the 7th seed and the 10th seed even matters. You get to select your opponent in that first round. There's a lot at stake, even in these games when the match is already decided.
Point. One, 0-2. Side out.
Quick hold for Miami. Devilliers had a great start to the 2025 campaign, dealt with some injury last season, came back stronger. A deep run at the Grand Slam and then singles for the PPA Tour. Now going to lead his team, Miami, who's had a gauntlet schedule this outing.
Only 5 teams here at this event, but all 5 of them in the top 8 of the standings in points per match.
Point.
I think Miami, a team that maybe has surprised people as far as being in the top 8 at this point. Talked about it being more competitive challenger teams that got promoted. Won the challenger title last year. Nice.
Second serve.
Tyra Black goes to the right hip of Bui. Maybe second guess whether or not that ball was staying in.
1-1-2.
How about the focus and concentration to keep that one alive off the net?
1-1-1.
Probably more just pure reaction speed than anything.
Point.
High for Devilliers. A point for the Dallas Flash.
A little tricky with the flick, ended up going a little high, a little wide.
2-1-1.
Tyra Black
Point.
snaps one through. Not sure if there's anyone more athletic than Tyra Black or women in all of
3-1-1.
MLP.
point.
Nation point for Dallas.
And of course, obligatory mention of the fact that since we do have a lefty and Augie on the court, we do typically see the men lined up across from each other and the women across from each other, assuming teams are unwinding the sack, which a lefty is almost always a given.
4-1-1.
It's the perfect fit for Tyra to play the left.
Point.
Jay Devilliers had the advantage. Instead, it slips away.
Five, 1-1. Second serve.
Perhaps the same spot on the court that Jay Devilliers suffered from in the men's doubles tight game number 2.
Her body language said it all there. Whatever happened, it was not what she was expecting.
Side out.
It's third for God. Ball back to Miami.
One, 5-1. Second serve.
Wow. Gladiator is upon us.
And I think that was very worthy of all the cowbells we were hearing.
1-5-2. Side
It's
out.
back for Bui. Quick hold, and Dallas back to work.
Five, 1-1. Point. Timeout change in. 6-1-1 Dallas.
Different verbiage on said side. Entire weekend, too. Drop volley. And Tyra,
Oh,
as they come, finally gets beat. Thought she was going to pick it up.
and if you're going to do the drop volley, putting that little bit of slice on it, just having it die, especially when it is so hot, the ball is so soft. So it's very rare you'll see a ball that Tyra can't track down.
Almost an impossible feat. That one's deep, and Dallas continues the run.
7-1-2.
Miami in a back-to-back here, too. Reminder, their journey doesn't stop here. They got the Ranchers next.
Point.
And as we talk about, how this game is still important, even just for Miami, when you have a player who is, just needing these high-level reps like Mya Bui, you're planning for the playoffs. You're in a good position now. You're ahead of
8-1-2.
schedule, so you just need to go out there and try to win every game you can, regardless of what the score is.
Side
Yeah,
out.
hey, make the playoffs, and then anything can happen at that point, right? And then you get a full season of work. If you're a player like Mya Bui, level tennis background for Mya.
1-8-1.
Wow, just
Oh, my goodness.
what a get. Oh, no.
Second serve.
One hurts. Poor Jay Devilliers.
That rally should have ended 5 times before
Wow.
it actually ended.
1-8-2. Side out.
Strong hold from Dallas.
8-1-1.
Earns them a chance to try to get a few more at 8-1, trying to close this out.
Second
Well
serve.
countered by Mya Bui.
8-1-2.
What a
Point.
job, Tyra Black spreading the field,
Media timeout.
beating the
9-1-2
attacks of Jay
Dallas.
Devilliers, pushing him out wide, doing a little dance at the kitchen. Dallas leads 9-1. They're 2 points away from calling this a sweep. Dallas in the closing stretch, looking for the sweep on Miami. Bui's not going to let that happen on her terms quite yet. Bui, originally hailing from Toronto, Canada.
191.
Tampa, Florida.
A lot of pickleballers in Florida.
Yes, especially in the Boca area where Jorja and Jorja Johnson currently reside.
192. Point. Two 9-2. Side out.
Holds. Cue the Cowboys. Excuse me, for the Dallas Flash.
9-1.
Need 2 to complete the sweep.
Point.
Down it goes, match point. Returns to the Dallas Flash.
10-1.
What a play,
match,
twice through the middle to
Dallas.
close it out. The lefty, Augie perseveres, a clean sweep. Tyra Black and Augie Hurricane, starting with you. We're on a Tennis Channel audience here. How do you explain the success that this Dallas Flash team is having so far this year?
It has been amazing. We have an absolutely just amazing team
My name is
around
Itamar.
us.
This is the story of
We
how I
have
got
a
my
lot
life
of people
back.
in the background that you don't
In
see
college,
that really
I
help us
injured
out
my
with
back
everything.
swimming,
It's been
and
such an
pain became
amazing
so.
journey. I'm just super excited to keep going this year with them and see how far we can go.
Augie, last night against the Texas Rangers, by the way, this is Maddie Pickles, your #1 fan. You guys didn't quite have the home court advantage, but what are you expecting tonight? There are a lot of Dallas people here. Will there be more counting for the fives, or will we be hearing cowbells for the Dallas Flash?
Yeah, great question. No, last night, definitely still a very pro-Texas crowd, although we had a very good amount of Dallas Flash fans out. And then tonight, hopefully, we have a little more Flash fans than Five fans. We'll need every ounce of energy from the crowd that we can get. And again, just appreciate everyone for coming out and braving the heat.
What's the mindset there tonight, Augie? You guys have a big target on your back. You're the defending champs from last year. And yes, that's in the past now, but you know the New Jersey Fives are going to be gunning for you guys tonight. How do you approach it?
Absolutely, they'll be gunning for us. They want every piece of us that they can get. And we are, I guess, kind of trying to play loose and still have fun, but also go into it like very seriously and see how we can go against them.
Well, worked out last time in the final last year. Guys, congratulations. Give it up for Augie and Hurricane Tyra Black. Just a teaser of what's to come tonight in a rematch of the finals. We're going to step aside and conclude our broadcast here on Tennis Channel. So thrilled